And then she turns into an adult, and she's flat out tonguing her father.
Yeah, but again, she was being possessed by Wiseman.
Now, did you figure that Chibiusa was going to turn out to be their daughter when she showed up?
Yeah,
Everyone
figured that out.
Well, and I think a lot of stuff in this worked better in the late 80s and early 90s when it was coming out.
What I really I never watched the original. I'm not sure if they had filler about it. I really wish they went into more detail about Pluto's character. Because I loved Sailor Pluto. Everything she did, whenever she came on, I was like, oh man, it's Pluto! What's she gonna do now? Then, like, spoiler alert, at the end, she dies because she stops time, and that's the ultimate taboo, apparently, in this world. And, like, I was like, oh, fuck, Pluto died? No, that's sad. But, like, I really wish they had went into more detail about her character. I mean, we learned that at one point she was like Chibiusa's size when Queen Serenity gave her the time staff to guard the door.
To which guys are like, holy fuck, you put a small child in charge of this?
And it's like she's going over everything that you can't do, which are the 3 taboos, which she does. Which that was the only thing she could do. But just like that was the only backstory they gave her. Was that she became friends with Chibiusa, and that they told you what happened when Serenity gave her power and put her in charge of the door.
I didn't mind that as much. I hated how underused the other 4 were. I mean, especially because, like, we both agreed Sailor Mercury was our favorite.
Yeah.
I mean, to my understanding, Sailor Mercury tends to be the most popular.
A lot of people, from what I can gather, like Mars most.
Well, for me, my problem with Mars was that in the original series, she sort of looked like every other anime girl. Like, at that time, the long black hair was really common. You were seeing it a lot in different stuff. Sailor Jupiter, each one of these characters has their fan base. But in a very real sense, this was the 90s, so they all just had that one personality trait type thing. Like, Sailor Mercury was the smart one. Mars was the tough one. I think Jupiter was like the tomboy. I don't really remember that much. Here, they don't even have that much. They get their episode where they get sort of their backstory. And then it's never mentioned again until each one gets kidnapped when we learn a little bit more. But you're only learning a little bit more so you'll feel more bad when they get taken. It's like with Sailor Mercury, I feel so sorry for her. She just gets so emotionally beat to hell in this series and for nothing. Like, I hated it at the end there where everyone gets to come home and you see them reunite with someone except her. Like, she just has no family. These kids were probably better off being kidnapped because apparently their parents just don't give a shit. Like, I thought for certain there would have been a scene, even if you just see, like, someone making up a story for where they go, I would have gone that much. They didn't even do that. And that's because, again, this series was supposed to be episodic. It was supposed to be nothing but filler with an occasional plot. They changed that, but they didn't do anything to really take it any further. It's like when they did Last Airbender. All the characters are there, and they're all doing the stuff, but nothing's been done to make it feel like a movie. Nothing's been done here to make this feel like it should be 25 episodes.
They were doing the stuff, barely.
Yeah, and that's sort of the problem here, is that and it's so emotionless. Like, you never really see anyone react, and we never see the friends do anything to bond.
What do you mean we never get to see anyone react? We see Usako react every time fucking something happens.
Yeah, and that annoying nails on a chalkboard.
And then we get Tuxedo Mask coming in to save the day because he's the fucking realest character ever.
He is the blandest character ever.
No, that's Venus.
Yeah, well, he has no personality in this. He's just sort of that very typical, I'm the perfect guy who just does everything the girl needs, and she just gets everything she wants from me, and I'm handsome, and they have sex.
I mean, but, like, let's be honest here. You wouldn't fuck Tuxedo Mask?
Yeah, probably. They have sex in this. That was shocking to me.
Wait, when?
The episode right before they go to the future where Chibiusa is sleeping in his bed, and then they go into the next room and they start making out and it fades to black, and then a few episodes later when Sailor Moon has her flashback to remembering everyone, he's shirtless. They do it! And she's supposed to be like 14!
But I mean, it's Tuxedo Mask.
Yeah. He is still looked at as one of the, like, sexiest anime man there ever, to my
Because
understanding.
he's fucking Tuxedo
Yeah.
Mask.
But
Like,
what-
whenever Tuxedo Mask would come on screen, I'm like, yes, something magical is gonna happen.
And for a guy called Tuxedo Mask, not a very helpful mask.
And
Those were basically sunglasses.
I kind of wish they had kept. Like, it's been so long since I watched it,
hmm
but I wish. I'm not sure if they kept it, but if they didn't, I wish they had kept the scene when Tuxedo Mask is talking to Sailor Moon. He's like, "My job here is done," and Sailor Moon looks at him and is like, you didn't even do anything," and then he just like flips his cape and just runs away.
Yes, because it was meant to be silly. It's too serious. And it's also like, I remember in the original Sailor Moon, he was like a jerk, because I think they were like lived on the same block or something. And so she thought the arcade guy was Tuxedo Mask. But the thing was that whenever she ran into Mamo or whatever his name was,
Momo.
yeah, whenever they ran into each other,
he
was always a jerk. So she just never antiquated it. And I can buy that for what her personality is supposed to be. But here, she's constantly running into him, and then meets him, and he doesn't even have a domino mask on. For all we know, those are probably prescription glasses. Because he wears them in the future, when now, even though it's the same person, he's just King Endymion. And she's just Queen Serenity. I'd like to know the backstory behind that.
Yeah.
And it's just sort of, it doesn't work because it's taking itself so seriously.
I like there's a post on the internet where it's like Tuxedo Mask is looking at Usako because they're on a date. It's like, man, that girl is so pretty. I wonder what she's thinking about. And then in Sailor Moon's head, it's just like, I wonder how many donuts I can fit in her.
And that's keeping in line with the character. The internet gets these characters more right than this show did. I mean, you get back to Sailor Venus, she barely gets any screen time. She barely does anything.
Mm-hmm.
She never gets kidnapped, but I felt like I saw the least of her by the time the show was over.
Well, I mean, I don't think she got kidnapped because, like, she was, like, one of the characters that no one really gave a fuck about. To the point where it's like, oh, man, you got kidnapped. Shucks, guys.
But it's just sort of like, I keep thinking to myself, why should I care about any of this? They get kidnapped, but nothing really big happens.
But thanks to the power of love and friendship, we can overcome this catastrophe.
Yeah, but I never felt like they were friends. You never see them bonding. Usually when they're together, they're just spouting more exposition.
Well, that's why they went to the arcade.
Yes, they go to the arcades, which don't exist anymore. So when is this supposed to be set? Is it still supposed to be set in the 90s? Because she has an iPad in an episode.
And they also have CDs.
And I know it's an iPad because they made sure to show us the Apple logo. Really, Sailor Moon? You had to go to Apple for money? Although, to be fair, it's my understanding this thing went over budget, so we'll probably see the rights end up lapsing to Lionsgate. We'll probably get a Sailor Moon movie by 2020. That's just a guess. We'll have to see how the Power Rangers movie goes. We're getting off topic. So yeah, I really didn't like any of this.
Well, of course.
Look, I'm sorry if you like it out there, and I understand for a lot of adult women, this series sort of brings you back to the nostalgia, because it does have all the nostalgic imagery you want to be there. It's got Tuxedo Mask, it's got the silly poses, it's got the funny costumes, it's got the weapons that you could almost see like them going, buy this for $19.95 at Walmart. You almost feel like that's there. Why did Sailor Mercury have a visor?
Because she's like the smart, geeky character.
And yet she's the one we all get a boner for. And again, they're all 14. But that plays so little into it, so who cares?
But the opening, though.
I hated that opening.
You hate the opening? Fuck you! I'm out.
Actually, all joking aside, I like the song. I hate the imagery. I hate that we see Sailor Mercury and she's got a tear for crying out. I hate that they all look so serious. Again, it's what I keep saying. It's not fun. It's not silly. It's not goofy. It's not 80s or 90s charm. It's just this emotionless, bland attempt at just cashing in at this nostalgia craze that DBZ Kai and the Evangelion movies have semi-created. But it's not doing that because it doesn't have the spirit of Sailor Moon, which again is just supposed to be goofy and fun, and that's just not there. I can see how someone might like this franchise, but if I didn't know Sailor Moon existed before this, I would in no way, shape, or form find it interesting or likable or anything. Any final thoughts? We're running out of time here.
I liked it.
I didn't. So anyways, score time, because I think we have like a minute left.
8 out of 10.
I'll go 2 out of 10 because the Chibiusa stuff at the end there is just goofy, ridiculous.
What
fun.
did you give Orelmo?
Ramo?
Yeah.
3.
So this is worse than that.
Yeah.
You're fucking dumb.
Oremo the slice of life comedy. This is supposed to be a sci-fi fantasy epic.
You're still fucking dumb.
Alright. So anyways, what do you think about Sailor Moon Crystal? I'm sure everyone has their thoughts. You can put that in the comments section below, and as always, click to like and click to subscribe and tell us what you want to hear us talk about next.